Hello, Gemini, Sun, Rising, and Moon. I am Poetic Heretic. This is your February 2019 tarot forecast. So let us check this out real quick. Okay, we look and sound good. So we will be looking at the energy of your sign for the month of February 2019, Celtic Cross, seeing all the ins and outs, the potential developments, the likely developments, the unlikely developments, looking at all of it, coming to you from a very cold, very frigid afternoon in this location where I am having to do what I have to do to stay warm. And my internet did go out a couple times so far today, just very briefly. I think it's something to do with the crazy weather. So if we get interrupted, I guess we'll just have to start all over again, but don't worry, one way or another, I will get your forecast to you. So don't worry about that. Okay, so we would like a Celtic Cross forecast for the sign of Gemini, for everyone vibrating on the frequency that is Gemini, for the month of February 2019. Let us see what we get. What will the month of February 2019 be like for the sign of Gemini? What insight does the universe have for those of the Geminian frequency? We are ready to go. Your current outside influences are the lovers, who are ruled by the sign of Gemini. Your challenge this month is death. That's some intense stuff. We will be sure to get deep into that. The underlying energy forming a foundation for your situation this month is the Knight of Pentacles. The past, the Ten of Pentacles reversed. I'm going to move my cards slightly here. There we go. What you hope to achieve, the Two of Swords. The near future, the Queen of Swords. Your attitude or position on the situation, the Three of Swords. The outside force coming in, the Ace of Wands reversed. Your hopes or fears, the Seven of Cups reversed. And the final outcome card is the Seven of Wands reversed. Double sevens right there at the end. The house of marriage, partnerships, and open enemies. All right, so let's begin. So how you're beginning the month with your current outside influences, the first card is with the lovers, the energy of the lovers. So this is a very dynamic card. So beginning the month with this idea of the coming together of opposites, the unification, the everything that has to do with the idea of division and then creating a third entity. But I'm going to try to not make this so esoteric. So one possibility of the way this can manifest is obviously the idea of relationships. But what we really see with this card, if you want to get right down to it, on a deeper level, not just the surfacey sort of thing, is the idea of having to make a choice that will require you to act on your principles, that will be a test of your values. Do you have your values secure? Are you sure of yourself when it comes to your values and your principles? The Lover's card often indicates a decision that will test that. Now, it can also indicate other kinds of decisions in general. It can indicate interactions, communications with everyday people, friends, neighbors, colleagues, even family members as well, just people you see on a day-to-day basis. It can indicate the need for, and I think from the other stuff we're seeing here, this would be likely to apply, the need for proper mental clarity, discrimination, seeing things clearly, discernment, that sort of thing. Not getting caught up in illusions, basically, but instead having a very clear sight into things. This card's ruled by your sign, Gemini, air sign, the mental realm. It's going to be associated also with the sign of Virgo, with it being a 6, which is an earth sign, but it's also ruled by Mercury, your ruling planet, an air planet, all about communication in the mental realm. So, and we're going to be getting into this more here, I can already see, but the idea of make sure you see things clearly this month, especially kind of around the beginning of the month, but perhaps some other times as well, we'll get into it. See things clearly. Don't allow yourself to fall into illusions, especially if an important choice comes your way, an important decision where you are sort of being tested and must make sure that you make the decision that truly represents your integrity and are not just taking the easy way out. So for your challenge, you have the Death card, and I hope you don't mind if I take a sip of tea. So the Death card, the card that everyone is scared of for no good reason. With this showing up as your challenge card, it's indicating this is a month, oh boy, this is a month where a lot of powerful changes can take place and probably should take place. This is a month where it's likely time to let go of the old to make room for the new. This card is ruled by the sign of Scorpio, all that Scorpio energy of life and death and rebirth, letting the old die so that the new can rise. So we could also be talking about the idea of deep emotional healing, of shadow work, of emotional understanding yourself emotionally. Really, it is a need to let go of what's no longer working for you, of what has outlived its usefulness, of what is no longer relevant, and thus therefore making room for the new developments, the new stuff that is relevant in your experience. And on another note, it could also even be saying, don't look on the dark side too much. Don't be overly pessimistic. This would be sort of more of a secondary thing, not as important as the other stuff I just went over, but secondarily, don't let yourself get too pessimistic. Make sure, like how we see this card cross over, the Lover's card, make sure that you are continuing to see things clearly and keeping that precise discernment that your being an air sign makes you so naturally good at anyway. So for the underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for the situation of this month, you have the Knight of Pentacles. So This is, fortunately, a card of success. It's a card of steadily working away at your job or a project or whatever's important to you. And it's not so intense like the other knights in the deck. It's a more calm knight, and that's because he's really talking about the idea of just steadily working away on the path to success, on the road to success. So that's very good. It's like saying that you are being supported this month with practicality, with success, with at least fairly stable finances, and that sort of thing. So that's very good indeed. Now, as a court card, it can sometimes manifest as an earth sign male. That would be the signs of Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. So someone like that might be involved in your in your life this month, and have your back, be supporting you as the underlying energy of this month. So for the past, you have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So when this card's upright, it is a very positive card talking about success and completion and financial gain and reward, stuff like that. But when it's reversed, it can talk about things not going so well financially. Now, fortunately, this is in the past. This is something that you likely have dealt with. So either challenges in the area of finance, or sometimes secondarily with this card, challenges in the area perhaps of the family, or of a sort of, I don't even know what the right words would be. A sort of overall domestic stability, challenges around that idea. So if you have had challenges in the realm of money, disappointments in that area and stuff like that, well, that may very well be connected to the current decision that you are being called on to make with the Lover's card, and also quite possibly the letting go of the old so that the new can be given new life, as we see with the Death card. So a bit unfortunate, but at least that was in the past, and now this month again you are being supported by the Knight of Pentacles. So for what you hope to achieve, you have the Two of Swords. So it's interesting because this connects in with the Lover's card very nicely. This card also talks about decisions, choices. This card also talks about mental clarity, objectivity, discernment. So what you're hoping for, what you're wanting to achieve, trying to achieve, making that decision, indeed, you are wanting to make a clear, focused decision that is in alignment with your values and principles. And so I think if there's anything else with that. Well, in some cases, the Two of Swords can also talk about the idea of peace. You may be reaching for more peace this month, and I can tell you already, if that's the case for you, by the end of the month, you are likely to get it from what we're seeing here. Likely indeed. So for the near future, you have the Queen of Swords. This might represent you, particularly if you're a female, because Queen of Swords is an adult female air sign, including the signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So this might represent you. If not, then it's talking about the idea of mental clarity, of clear decision-making. We have that again, of the importance of thinking logically and clearly, and this sort of thing. So this would be like the first 1 or 2 weeks of the month. The cards are again calling on you to see your situation clearly, and whatever you're having to decide right now, be very careful that you're making a decision that is in alignment with what you are truly about. Now, your attitude or position on the situation about halfway through the month. You have the Three of Swords. So most people interpret this card exclusively negatively. My interpretation is it could be negative or positive. I guess it is more often than not negative. But to go over those meanings, first of all, we have the idea of trouble, shock, worry, trauma, distress, schedule upsets, mistakes when it comes to schedules, also mistakes in communication, miscommunication, poor communication, hurt feelings, this sort of thing. So you might be feeling that intense stress around halfway through the month. Or on the flip side of this card can also talk about the idea of laying it on the line, telling it like it is, saying what you really think and feel, which is one hell of a thing that I think people need to do a lot more these days, and no one does enough of, basically, is say what you really think and feel. And so if that's you this month, Gemini, then hats off to you, kudos to you from me, Poetic Heretic, because that's what people need to do so much more. So many of our problems are rooted in inauthenticity. And so I think it's interesting that the Lover's card came up, which talks about staying true to your values and principles. And then this card comes up saying, oh, your attitude or position in the situation is you're going to tell it like it is. You're going to be authentic. You're going to be in your integrity, in your integration of all parts of yourself. So hopefully that's how it manifests for you. Otherwise, yes, I've got to be honest, it could be, as the imagery indicates, the idea of like a broken heart or just trouble, stress, trauma, shock, worry, that sort of thing. Do I have something on my freaking lip as I'm seeing on the screen here? You guys, the things that happen when you're live. Anyway, so I hope it's not negative for you, but if it is, remember, it's just temporary. It's not like the whole reading is indicating some big problem or challenge or whatever. So for the outside force coming in, you have the Ace of Wands reversed. So when this card's upright, it's very positive. When it's reversed, there is a tendency for delays, for low energy, for a lack of passion and stamina and whatnot. But you see, this is the outside force coming in, so this is not likely to be you. It's likely to be someone or something else that comes your way in the month. And so you might encounter things like that. Maybe people around you are encountering things like that, and that's why this is showing up. It could even be the idea of you running into delays. It could be the idea of a new beginning that comes your way, but that is not good for you to take. A new beginning that you really need to think carefully about. Maybe that's even connected to the stuff we saw earlier about decisions and choices. So keep that in mind. Really, that's I guess that's all we can say about that. So for your hopes or fears, you have the Seven of Cups reversed. So very often when this card is reversed, it does talk about the idea of coming to one's senses, seeing things clearly again, which has been a theme in your reading, as we can see here. So I believe that you are indeed hoping that you can see things clearly, that you are not overwhelmed by options, as the imagery of this card suggests. You're hoping that you can see clearly, and from the looks of it, you're probably going to be able to indeed. So for your final outcome card, how you are concluding the month of February 2019, you have the Seven of Wands reversed. So, all's well that ends well, as they say. All's well that ends well. Well, I don't know, but this certainly ends well in all probability, because the Seven of Wands reversed is talking about no longer having to feel on the defensive, or no longer feeling like people are challenging you and like you have to sort of block them out or put up boundaries. Now you are able to be more relaxed. You're able to freely like talk to other people, negotiate with other people, interact with other people in whatever way, shape, or form. And there's even this sense of like, if things haven't been normal, if they haven't been okay, this is like things getting back to normal and getting back to a more peaceful state where there's no longer, because like when this card's upright, it's often like a person who really has to, you know, take a stand and stand their ground and even take like a moral stance, and there's some division, but it's necessary. But when it's reversed, it's like, oh, now we've reached an understanding, and now we are communicating again, we're on the same page again, we're on good terms again, stuff like that. And so that's how you're wrapping up the month of February 2019 with that positive, more peaceful energy. So there you go, Gemini. I hope you enjoyed. And hello there, Ryan, in the chat. You tuned in at a very good time indeed. One of my Gemini people that watches my streams regularly, which I very much appreciate. So indeed, overall, what can I say here to the Geminis out there? Overall, indeed, it's a month of making important decisions, and where you want to really stick to your values, stick to your principles, stay in your integrity. And also with that death card showing up for the challenge card, don't be afraid to let the old die so that the new can manifest, so that the new is given a chance to come about. And yes, we maybe see some challenges, particularly around the middle of the month, but just continue to tell it like it is, stay true to yourself, and I guess all is well that ends well. That's Seven of Wands reversed. All right, so thanks so much, Gemini. If you would like a personal reading with me, I do go live on this channel regularly, doing live tarot readings for donations of any amount. You could literally just pay me $1 and I will give you a Celtic Cross reading on any question of your choice. I don't necessarily have a set schedule, but usually on Wednesdays, most commonly, I will do those streams. Also Mondays and Saturdays, often enough. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and look out for those. And if that schedule changes, I'll be sure to let you know, or that tentative schedule or whatever. So thanks again, Gemini. Your month is looking intense, but in a good way. I'm sure you're up for the challenge. So enjoy the ride. Thanks so much. All right, so I'm gonna read Ryan's comments here a bit, and then I'll wrap up the stream. So now that wrapped up the reading, so now I'm just gonna check out the comments. All right, loving the jacket. Thank you. Yeah, it is a vest. Yeah, it's a vest I got years ago, actually, but it's definitely one of my favorite things. I don't wear it nearly enough. It's extremely cold here today, so I needed to put it on. Keep me warm enough as I do this reading, or these readings. Mr. Burns' See My Vest song from The Simpsons. Well, that sounds like it would be the perfect song, wouldn't it? So yeah, I hope you're doing well today, Ryan. As you can see, I'm reading the cards for each of the 12 signs of the zodiac today. It's been fun so far. But I mean, if you want to tune in to the others and watch them too, feel free. You know, it's all right either way. And you can, well, basically you can use these both from myself and from other readers out there on YouTube for your sun, your rising, and your moon signs. So don't think that you just have to look at Gemini. You can also look at your rising and moon signs. I think your moon sign was Pisces, if I recall. So if you want to, like whether it's from me or from someone else, you can check out that as well. We look forward to tuning in. Thank you so much, sir. I look forward to having you. All right, so I guess I better wrap this stream up. I'll be right back with the sign of Cancer. Thanks for tuning in, Ryan, and thanks to everyone else who watches this in the future. I'll see you guys next time.